There's a Florida bill that's allowing homeowners to dissolve their HOA, but what exactly does that mean for homeowners and neighborhoods? Well, RE/MAX specialist Maria Raymer is back to break it all down. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I didn't even know that this was a thing, so I'm glad you're here. So tell us exactly, what is House Bill 657?
So this passed the House in Florida, and it's set to go before the Senate early this year. So it could potentially allow residents to dissolve their HOA. Yeah.
And what would happen if an HOA is dissolved, I guess?
Yeah, so if you have a dysfunctional HOA and they dissolved it, the residents, there's some options that are being floated, such as have the city take it over, have a CDD put in place, have the residents handle it, because you still have things that have to be run and paid for, common area stuff, you know, like the pool or the sign at the front entrance, just different things that have to be taken care of.
Right.
So there would still have to be something in place to do it, but if the majority of tenants voted to dissolve it altogether, then they wouldn't have one.
Okay, so, and people might think that that's a good idea because they're like, oh, well, I'm going to save money, right? But what's the negative side to that thought?
Yeah, so the unintended consequence of that decision would be potential risk to the property values in the community.
Right, actually, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, because HOAs are there to enforce rules. They're there to take care of the common area maintenance, like I mentioned, and if nobody's there to do that, the community could deteriorate, which in the end would greatly affect the property values, and I think that the offset of not paying HOA fees wouldn't be worth it for what you could lose in property value. So that's the risk.
Well, I've definitely seen neighborhoods that don't have an HOA, and then you might see one beautiful home with a manicured lawn, and then right next to it is a home that you don't really want to live next door to. I mean, you're just going to get that in places where there is no HOA who's going to enforce them to kind of take care of that. So I can see what you mean about the value may be going down, because it's like, I don't want to live next to that.
Right, and there are some people who love living in a community that has no rules, no regulations. They do whatever, whenever they want. But you're right, in those neighborhoods, then you have that lack of consistency in how the houses look and how they're taking care of their yard and things like that.
Yeah, that can play a huge role. And I've heard, you know, obviously some HOAs have been run poorly and they're not handling the money properly, too expensive, too harsh on residents even when it comes to enforcing the rules. So what's the best balance when it comes to HOA and the residents? Yeah,
I mean, I think there's a couple really great options. You can hire a really good property management company that works hard and, you know, has a good reputation and is going to listen to the residents and work in their best interest. So that's one option. And another option is the residents can band together and run it themselves. They can elect a board. Yeah, they can elect a board. And if you have people that maybe have experience in this, or they're retired and they have time to donate to something like that, because it does take a lot of time and energy to run these HOAs, but like my personal one is run by the residents, and you know, I think it's super important whether you hire a company or whether you do it within the community. Show up for the meetings, because you can't complain about what's voted on if you're not there to have a say.
That's a good point.
Make your voices heard, and you know, have a say in how your communities are run. But yeah, some people don't think, oh, the residents can do a great job.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, ours is run really, really well, and we vote and the majority rules, and if you get a majority agreeing to something, then I think that's a win, and you know, you kind of go with that. But yeah, it can work either way.
Okay, well, I know a lot of things change in the real estate market, so if somebody wants a little bit more information or your help, where can they go?
MariaRaymer.com.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. You're always giving us that great knowledge, because again, things change all the time. Didn't even know about this bill, but this is a really interesting subject, so maybe this will help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Of course, and if you'd like to see this interview again, everyone, just head to First Coast News Plus.